Hey, GenderqueerChat, Joe here. Bear with me. I'm the Sunday person. Stanley, please don't be noisy. And we don't really have a topic list. And Matt put out some questions that, but not dated. So I'm just going to randomly pick one, and that'll be the topic this week, I guess. And actually, I'll pick the one that Quincy did because that would be best, because Quincy already did it. And it was, what have been your highest and lowest points along your gender journey? I guess the high point would be discovering the word genderqueer and discovering GenderqueerChat and like-minded people. Stanley, please. Here we go. I'm really sorry about this. I think, as I've said in previous videos, but maybe people are new and they don't know, I'm Joe. I'm 40 years old, and I discovered the word genderqueer when I was 37. So for the first 37 years of my life, I identified as an angry feminist. And I guess that might have been the best word I was just angry all the time, and I did not have a word to describe it. And the discovery of the word genderqueer and just all that it embraces and entails, and just discovering an identity at the age of 37 just blows my mind, because I'm not angry about I am angry about religion. I get angry about religion, I get angry about injustice. But I don't get angry about just general living anymore. I don't think I was like a horrible person. I wasn't angry 24/7, but I was angry about gender. I had gender issues, was the only way to describe it. And knowing that I wasn't trans, that I wasn't gay, that I wasn't bi, there was no word for it. I was on the surface a straight woman, and and then when people call you a woman and call you a straight woman, and you don't connect to that on any level, it's frustrating as sin. So that would have been the low point, was just, well, that's not really a low point, that's a low 37 years, isn't it? I should have thought about this video before I started making it. But the lowest point along my gender journey, okay, I will tell a story. When I was about 22, I lived in the Canadian Arctic, and I remember I had pajamas that were like shorts and a top. I know I was wearing shorts in the Arctic, but whatever. And I remember my roommates were having a party, or whatever, people were over and talking. And I went out to the living room and I said, you guys mind keeping it down, because I'm trying to sleep after work in the morning, whatever. And this guy, one of the guys at the party, looked at my legs, my hairy legs, and he lost his ever-loving mind. And he started screaming at me and telling me I was a pig and that I should be forcibly restrained and shaved, and that's disgusting. And I remember being stunned silent, because I can honestly say that I have never been the victim of kind of overt sexism as it relates to my body. I've never been harassed regarding my body or the way I choose to present or the way I look. I've never worn makeup. Not since I was in my teens and early 20s. I've never shaved, not since I was 19. I've worn men's clothes most of my life, even as a teenager. I think I've just always been just inherently a cross-dresser. And I think no one's ever given me a hard time about that. And it wasn't until that guy said it that one time, and it's the only time it ever happened, that I just couldn't even believe that people thought that way, let alone they'd say it out loud to your face. I just couldn't believe it. And I know I'm very privileged, because, there's people who deal with abuse and this type of thing every day of their lives. Something Jay, the new member, said in their video a couple days ago kind of blew my mind. They were talking about worrying if their child would be mocked for having a gender non-conforming parent. And in my mind, I just get to be me, and if I had a kid, they'd just deal. But it never even dawned on me. Here's me again with my freaking privilege. Yeah, if you have a female-bodied parent that kind of presents male, it's passed off as tomboyish, whatever, nobody cares. It's not really a problem in society. But if you have a male-bodied parent that presents occasionally female, or decides to wear a dress from time to time, or whatever, makeup, that's a problem. You get your dad's a fag and this kind of thing. And it reminded me of Krista Easter. I don't know if you guys remember her. She was on Training Star Galactica, and she had 2 children, and she was a trans woman who had before she ever had kids, her wife, the mother of her children, and her had an arrangement. They knew Krista's at that time, I guess, was a cross-dresser or on the journey to transition, and wore women's clothing around the house. Before she ever started doing it publicly, she did it privately, and, you know, in the presence of the kids, and it was no big deal in their family. And it made me think of that. It made me think of how lucky, you know, I guess I am, that I don't have to think about that kind of, well, I don't have kids, but even if I did, it wouldn't really be a problem, blah, blah, blah. So, totally gotten away from the topic at hand. 3 highest and lowest points along your gender journey. So the time that guy called me out on my hairy legs. And I guess the high point that just sticks out recently, there were 2 of them. One was when my sister was introducing me to someone, and she introduced me as her sibling. I really liked that. That was just very thoughtful, and it was very kind. And yeah, I just, you know, she didn't have to do that, because she didn't have to. She's been calling me her sister her whole life. It's not, and I'm not terribly bothered by it. I prefer to be called sibling, but it's okay if she doesn't. But she did, and I appreciated that. And secondly was the story I've told more recently in the last couple of weeks about a teacher. I think I even told this story last week. The teacher who was very, very, very respectful of my gender issues, and was going to introduce me to his French class as mademoiselle or madame, and he asked me, and I said neither, and the conversation went from there. So yeah, those were some highlights for sure. Having a mother that is very, very, very accepting of me in all my crazy ways, not just gender. You know, being very blessed on that front, being able to be myself, living in a culture where I get to be myself. Now, I watched Quincy's video a couple of days ago, so I've actually forgotten what they said, but there was a comment where they said something like, is this making sense? And I just wanted to say, yes, it makes sense. The things you were saying were making total sense to me. So there you go. Okay, and I think we've got a couple new members this week. I'm so sorry, but again, I apologize. I've been very discombobulated, and I have not been keeping up properly on this channel or just in life in general, how I get through life. I don't even know. It's the month of March, whatever. But things are looking up. I'm in better spirits, and the house is actually getting clean today, which is a marvel. So yeah, that's the topic this week, you guys. I hope you don't mind. Your highest and lowest points along your gender journey, and hope to really looking forward to some of the new people this week. Catch you guys later. Bye-bye.